So how did he explain the union of Shabbos itself and Shabbos in the weekday? What are these two inyonim? Anybody? Yes, it connects to the two Pirushim on Voeschanan. Matnas Chinam, a gift.
It was Shabbos.
Sorry?
Shabbos is Matnas Chinam. Feel of Shabbos.
Okay. What are let's go back to the foundation of the Maimer. What are the two dargis in Voeschanan?
Matnas Chinam, a bakasha for Matnas Chinam, and tefillah.
Okay, so explain the difference.
One is unearned, so to speak, and the other one is a gift that's unearned, and the other one is a gift that's related to the merits of the requester, the person praying for the gift.
So it's related to his merits or is a gift? How can it be both?
The combination of the two.
How is it a combination that they contradict? If you're coming because of merit, it's one thing. If you're saying a gift, it's another. They're not compatible.
Abishter, it's a gift, but the Shem basically decided that based on that on the system of merits and so on and so forth that you're shy to the gift, but that itself is a man's view.
He identified the levels above where all this is rooted, which are so spell it out in English. The Hebrew term is arech, means English. What is your will? What is your will? Your will is that Rabbi should touch you. If you didn't will that, it couldn't happen. And it's your will. And Pnimius HaKeser Atik is yeah, relatively speaking, the essence of Hashem, the master of the world, but not the will itself. So these two levels of end of the day davening, the two Pirushim in the Sifri, the Pirush and the Medrash, which is the latter Pirush of the Sifri, are addressing these two levels, as the Rebbe explains it. So let's revisit again. What does it mean to daven when there's merit? Which is what tefillah by definition means. You have a relationship, you have a connection. You're not a stranger. That's what tefillah means. Why does tefillah mean that by definition? What does tefillah mean already by the term and the word tefillah? Why does it imply already that there's a relationship? It's symbiotic. This is some measure of midah keneged midah. Why? How is it implied in the very word? Which means you're connected. The word tefillah means connected. So if you're connected, it means you have a connection. So where's the element of Voeschanan in such an union? Voeschanan, according to the second opinion in the Sifri and the one in the Medrash, it's one of the 10 Lashonos of Tefillah. So as you were saying, a Jew is approaching God and he's saying, you want me to do these things and you have decided by your Ratzon that you will respond. So he's not coming with nothing. Doesn't have that audacity. But he acknowledges that I only touch you because you so want. So therefore the end in the bigger context, and that's why he uses the language of Voeschanan, Grant my request as pure grace, as a gift, because my deservedness itself is your gift. I'm adding a sentence I didn't say before that clarifies it. My deservedness, or whatever merit, the paucity or the expansiveness, is itself your gift. And then there's the pure Voeschanan, corresponding to Pnimius HaKeser, Keser Shebemalchus, in the words of Chassidus. So what's that? A Jew approaching God, and he doesn't what? Just spell it out in English. How does he daven? No? What's his mindset? What's his emotional state?
I can only approach asking as a gift.
It's purely matana. There's no consideration of earned milas. And he wanted to say that's Shabbos, and before we get into distinction, I would start off with a nuance, but let's make the broader distinction. That's Shabbos and weekday. What's the davening of the weekday, and what's the davening of Shabbos? And how's it seen in the davening of the weekday? And how is it reflected in Shabbos, these two levels? And why Dafke Shabbos? Is it the higher level? This was Ois Beis. So what did he say in Ois Beis? You can look at it for a moment, tell me.
Davening during the week is a Yegia and Avodah.
Davening during the week is Yegia and Avodah means what? Toil and effort. That's just English, so that means that you're...
Difficult.
It means it's difficult, but it means that it's through that toil that you are standing before God.
Yeah.
That's how you're standing there. And that's the context of your request, huh?
Doesn't mention in the Mimer that we actually make bakashas during the week, like we ask for things that we don't really ask for on Shabbos.
That's right. Yeah, that's implied by the Mimer. Yeah, and we get the Shabbos, we'll incorporate that. It's implied, doesn't say it. What else? There's something very important in davening that during the week that's not on Shabbos. Huh? Tachanun. That's the avodah. I'm sorry. If you're coming with being deserving in some measure, then integral to that is an apology. We addressed yesterday, parenthetically, why you say I'm sorry after the whole avodah of Ava and Bittul, Shmoneh, then you say I'm sorry. We addressed that yesterday. Because that's a true I'm sorry then. But upon him, that's the weekday, so that's the lower level of where our avodah is integral to the whole relationship. It's midah connected midah. God responds in kind. But then comes Shabbos. What's the avodah? What's the mindset of Shabbos? Overall, some broad brushstrokes. The way a Yid approaches Shabbos and everything's done. He has no worries. Not only no worries, panos. He has no worries, beruchnias. Why is no worries, beruchnias? Why would that be? So Shabbos, he becomes insensitive to his own spiritual failings. If you're sitting at the king's table and you're invited and you're there for 24 hours in the palace, then you're just in awe and enraptured with the palace. You're lifted. We're lifted. It's a gift that we're lifted from the morass of our own limitations. It's a matana. It's a foretaste of love. What do we see? The Shabbos as a gift. Everything has to have a root in Nigla. That would be the classification. Matana. Again, matana means gift, undeserved, irrelevant. Deserving otherwise is irrelevant.
In
the Maimon, what?
The Hari brings here in the Maimon Chazal.
Yeah, the Maimon Chazal. Yeah. What's the Maimon Chazal?
115.
Yeah, what does it say? It's a famous quote. The Eibusha told Moishe, I have a gift amongst my treasures, and her name is Shabbos, and I'm going to give it to the Yid, and it's described, defined, referred to as the matan. In davening also be referred to it as a matan.
Yismach Moishe.
B'matnas chelka.
Yismach Moishe, b'matnas chelka.
What does it say there? Maybe even that could be referring to Moishe Rabbeinu's, but it's in the context of Shabbos. I think it's even stronger. What does it say? Friday night. Where Matana is there, friends? Yeah. Yes, come on, Hashem, Shabbos, okay. Okay, so on Friday night, it's Shabbos morning, or Musaf. Anybody see it there? Have a look. Santi, Samesh, Shamro. Velain is Satai. Masha Matana. That Shachris. Yeah, no, yes, but Matnas Chelke, that's what's screaming. You have a name on Karasai killed with it. Schneider Chos beim Shmir Shabbos, so in the context of the gift of his portion. Yeah. Musaf. Okay. That was no, that we didn't finish Oizbeis, the summary. So what's the connection to the Avodas HaTfilah? Yeah, so the Avodas HaTfilah, there's the union of Shabbos every day. What's that? Every day, where's Shabbos and Tfilah? But what level of Matana / Shabbos is Tfilah in the context of Yigiyah, of toil, in the context of us eliciting and touching God by virtue of our Avodah, which He so desired and set in place. That's Arich. Then Shabbos is Komalachta Chasuya, and it's higher than Avodah, it's a pure gift that we're taken in. We're invited and we're spending the 24 hours in the presence of the king at the king's table in the palace. There's no tachanun. It's beyond. It reveals the essential bond between the Yid and the Eibishter. And that's the connection it goes on to say with what? With Moishe Rabbeinu's Voeschanan that I pleaded. Al Rebbe explains what was he trying to do. He wants to go into Yisrael. Why? Because he wants to have the satisfaction of completing the job that he devoted his life to. Maybe there's an element to that. I don't know. But that's not what he asked. What's he asking, Voeschanan? Why does he want to go together with the Yidden in Yisrael? Explains the Alter Rebbe and got the Torah, and it's exactly what we're talking about here. Is because what he wants, and he used the word Voeschanan. He uses the word Voeschanan to describe, as he's talking to the Yidden, he's telling them, he's reviewing, he's telling them he's being very vulnerable, Moishe Rabbeinu, this Fabrengen here. I pleaded and it was turned down, but he tells him what he pleaded as a matana. What did I ask? No, have a look at his gimel. What did he want? Yesh Lakashi, that was connecting to everything we just learned now. Yeah.
To impact the Yidden that they should have.
He wanted to?
To impact the Yidden that they should have this madrega, right?
They should have?
They should reach this level.
He wanted mamshah the level to them. He wanted to draw this level of pure matana that should accompany the Yidden and be part of their lives as they go into Yisrael. this deep connection to the Eibishter, this deep absolute love. That's, please tell me the diak in the word chinam, matnas chinam, and he invokes another context where chinam is used in the Torah earlier, Pashas, huh? The Yidden said, we remember Zachan Sadaka Shachan Mitzrayim Chinam. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt for free. Free, they were slaves. So Rashi says he has to explain what Chinam means. Chinam in our mitzvahs. We didn't have any obligations there. So here too, now say, here Taka Chinam in our mitzvahs, free from mitzvahs. What does that mean? Chas v'sholom, we don't do mitzvahs. But it means what? You want to be mamshech hadarga, that is higher than mitzvahs. This unconditioned, absolute bond and love that Eibush has with Yidden, he wanted the Yidden to have that. Because we're going to mess up. And so, but the bond should be uncompromised and revealed. That's what he wanted. Now, l'chayre, so two questions. Why wasn't God grant this? And the bigger question is, but he affected it. It is true. The bond is there. But Bemis is not in a revealed way. Because Yidden were exiled. And suffered Golas. So let's see why not. I mean, what's the basic answer also brought in Chassidus, why Hashem didn't, no, it's a medrash. Why did Hashem let Moishe take the Yidden in? Because it'll tie into what the Rebbe is going to say in a minute from the Alter Rebbe, but in Medrash it says, classic answer. Because everything Moishe Rabbeinu does is irreversible. Ma'aseh Moshe Nitzchi. If he would bring them in, then Golus isn't an option. If God forbid they sin, that means they're destroyed. So Hashem had to allow the option for Golus, so Moshe can't take them in. He'll take them in when they're not leaving. Geil Rish and Geil Achran, he'll be the last Redeemer, then we'll go in and we're not leaving ever. But if he brings them in, then the option of Golus is not possible. And the Eibishter's deep kavanah is that there has to be a Golus, because that's all part of the deep kavanah of Diri B'Tachtonim. So in the end, his request will be fulfilled. That's the whole point of it all, is redemption. Which ties into what the Rebbe is going to explain here now from the Alter Rebbe. So that's what we're up to. Yeah, up to the second paragraph of Voice Gimel. You'll excuse me for, what's the word I meant? Peppering you the questions, but this is the way you're going to remember. Okay, remember at least longer, better. Okay, the Rebbe continues in the second paragraph of Voice Gimel. I'll also remember it better and longer because we're discussing it. So the beginning of Voice Gimel is speaking about the higher level of Ve'atchannan, that Moishe Rabbeinu Ve'atchannan wanted to bequeath Yidden. That's the first pirish of the Sifri. But the Medrash Rabbah, and the second pirish of the Sifri, he shegam Ve'atchannan, it doesn't address that level. The Medrash only addresses the Ve'atchannan as a Masor L'Sheni Shel Tefillah in the context of Avodah. Doesn't bring, the Medrash Rabbah does not bring this pirish even. Why not? So the Yuve and Behektem Amavum B'Lekot Torah. So I'll understand this by first prefacing what the Alter Rebbe says in the Lekot Torah. Shebakoshes Moishe now rephrasing Moishe Rabbeinu's request. What is it? What does he want? He wants God's love to be revealed to Yidden, that is beyond our avodah. In the translation, arousal from above that's beyond arousal from below. What is that? What's in Torah? That's what Torah is, opposed to tefillah. Tefillah, by definition, is man approaching God. Torah is God's gift to us, matana, Shal yoda nimshach m'bchinas al noichim mishanech. And Torah brings to us the I that I am of the Eibishter Shalamayla, Mayla Miramsu de Tata, that's above all our Avodah. Above Derech Matana, Torah is a gift. It's one of the Lashonis of Torah. They would describe Torah, it's called inheritance, called a gift. We make a bracha, we invoke the Matana. Shenos Alona Torah Semes Matana. So, and that's Moishe Rabbeinu's inyan is Torah. So he wants that Torah component to be the tefillah component. In simple language, even in our requests, worthy or not, God will grant because it's a matan. That's what he wanted. So l'chayr zu gewaltige Sache, happy in a moving. It's not understood, Masha Oimrim, that which is in Masha Oimrim. Yeah, that's what the Maamar is saying. Shebakashas Moishe leinis kaimach, that Moshe's request wasn't fulfilled. Hariyeshing in Torah that we have Torah, we have Torah. Sheyoda nimshach gam ata. When a yid learns Torah, now he's drawing down b'chinazo. This level of the divine beyond their avodah. So it is fulfilled. I already gave it away because he wanted to fuse that level of Torah with tefillah. That's what he's going to say. We'll soon see out of 27. I didn't learn it yet, but it looks significant. It seems this Maamar got a lot of edits from the Rebbe. You see from the end. We do have Torah. So what's we saying? His request wasn't fulfilled. It's explained that Tzemach Tzedek, Moishe Haisa, what was his request which was not fulfilled yet? That this which Torah is mamshich in bracket sheba b'derech matana v'srusa de'leila, canal, that it's a gift and it's God's unilateral expression of absolute love. Tifel l'mata ba'olam. It should affect the world. Not we should just have it, but it should be manifested in the reality on the ground, which means that in our tefillah, was deserving or not, Torah, God will respond. Because that's the difference. That's the difference between Torah and tefillah. Torah basically is a spiritual endeavor. Its effect is be'ikil l'mayla b'atzilus. Yid learns Torah, so its main effect is illuminating atzilus. In simple language is when you learn Torah, his mind is illuminated. That's the atzilus of a person. Beilim is elyonim in the higher worlds. And that's what the Gemara says. Everything has a makar and nigla. The Gemara says when a Yid learns, God sits and learns and repeats the words after him. That's a spiritual response. Do you hear it? Do you see it in the world? No. It's a tremendous inyan. It's a tremendous pa'ula, but it's on a spiritual level. The spiritual worlds feel and are illuminated when a Yid learns Torah. We see the change down here, no? He's closeted, he's learning, and very nice. Feel that tefillah when a Yid davens. Pasha davening. Pa'elim effects l'shanis hanivroim, to change reality from what it was. The sick become healed. And the rain come down. Why? Because tefillah behind the fish, tefillah is us opening up to God, like tilling the earth. Therefore, tefillah effects down here. Therefore, tefillah affects down here because that's what tefillah is. Tefillah is us. We're down here. And we're opening up to Hashem, again, tilling, breaking up the earth. So there's change. So Moshe's Torah said that explains the Alter Rebbe and Tzemach Tzedek explaining. So what did he want? Voeschanan. He wants that Torah should be Inyan Shatfilah. Moishe wanted to affect that even the drawing down here, so that which we affect through our tefillah should be a Torah effect, which means regardless of our worthiness, it should affect. That's the meaning of the Medrash Rabbah. So it comes out the Medrash Rabbah is like in a way higher. That's what it means that the matnas chinam. It's like a new thing. I don't know. That his bakasha of chinam should be a lashon shel tefillah, given Moishe ratza sheyachibur beis hamaylas. He wants a fusion of both. Even though the Amshach is a gift, that's a Torah Indian, but it shouldn't remain in the spiritual realms. Torah should affect change on the ground in the place where Tefillah does. Should have the Maila of Avodas Hamata as well, without the Avodah. And that's why in his davening there's this two aspects. Because he wants change down, he wants to go and touch the soul with the Yidden. He wants to be firmly anchored in the Mata. But in the Mata, what's revealed? The Matnas Chinam, which is simple language, means deserving or not. Even the lack of Matnas Chinam, even there, like tefillah, which is about change on the ground, the change on the ground should happen in a Torah-dika way, an absolute, unconditional way. Because you want better for your people, for your children. You'll daven. I mean, if you don't deserve it, you'll get it. Absolutely, because it's a Torah inyan. Simple language. It's not magic and not tricks. He wants to reveal in Mamshech Lamata. At the end of the day, the Eibush has unconditional love for Yidden. A parent, he will only provide for this child if the child is deserving. No, it is like actually the model. Do you want your kid to behave? You do. You're not going to feed the kid if the kid doesn't. Nothing changes. But you want the kid to. But God forbid the child is not, no breakfast that day. You give. So that's what he wanted for Yidden Lamat. In that Yisrael, yeah, they have to do the avodah, the tefillah. But at the end of the day, it's regardless. Matnas chinam, you provide, and it comes down in a tefillah way, which means in their world and in the not baruchnius, in their world where they're davening and where they're asking rifachaylim mevarach hashanim. And he wanted that from the get-go. That should define the new venture, which. Had he gone, it would have been Mashiach. Had the Yidden been ready for it, there was a great potential for redemption, but not to be. Okay, we're clear? So let's repeat this back while it's fresh in our memory. Give me a summary now. This is Eis Gimel, the whole Eis Gimel. No, the second half of Eis Gimel, the last thing we'll just learn. So let's begin. Just push it. What did Moishe want to do? And how? What the second paragraph of his Gimel is adding to the first is the Torah inyan. Moshe's inyan is Torah. So what's Torah? Let's look at Torah and Tefillah. Torah is what? Clearly it's what? It's a matana, it's a gift. We see this, that it's not affected by the matter. Even if you're Tommy, you learn Torah. It's Eish, it's fire, it's not makabel Tommy. Torah is compared to fire. Eish dos lomai. Other psukim. Fire is not makabel Tommy. Yid learns Torah even if he's Tommy. Tefillah, on the other hand, there was Takanis Ezra. He's Tommy, he shouldn't have. In theory. So that brings out the point, because Torah comes down Lamata, it's a gift, and our worthiness and unworthiness is irrelevant. So that's the end of Torah. So what does Moishe in Yonesh Torah? He wants to bring that to bear, no? He wants to fuse it with Tefillah. That means Taka Yid what? Tefillah means that you got to do your avodah. But your avodah, nonetheless, regardless, absolutely, the end of the day should be mamshech what? the absolute response of God that's beyond unconditional. Matnas chinam. Yeah, the example would be a parent and a child. You'd make demands on your child, but in no way does it compromise what you provide and the love and the protection. That's what he wanted. Well, you want to be mamshech Davish as a loving father, mother, parent. That should be transparent and obvious, and the overriding context of the relationship of Yidden and Yisrael, which means they'll be protected and blessed no matter what happens. Like a parent. No, could you want more than that? And what's wrong with it? And why wasn't it fulfilled? Why didn't Abraham fulfill it? He didn't. He didn't conduct himself overtly as a father. He was a judge and a melech, and there were consequences and golas. So that we'll see Be'ezrat Hashem tomorrow. Just want to point out to you, and I didn't learn it, didn't look at it, that this long ha'adas, that's clearly, that star, the Rebbe wrote this, no question, because they write, it says, look at Arab 43, that this word is not clear, Iksaviat Kodesh, so it's not a mugadik in mind, but that's what it was. The long ha'ara here, and it looks really dense. Try and work it through. So though not muga, like many of them, there were, significant edits. Now, I don't know if it used to be, it changed. There were 4 ways, whatever that mime is. It would say, Anachas Aktimim Bilti Muga. If it said that, the Rebbe didn't necessarily saw it, but there was no comment. Tamimim, the Chassidim wrote it. Hanocha Bilti Muga, which is what it says here, the Rebbe saw it, and sometimes it's strong notes. Hanocha Stam, without Bilti Muga, is pretty much edited, but he doesn't want to have a reason to give that official thing. Muga is that's the dargis, but none of these say Anachas Tatimim Bilti Muga. They all say Anacha Bilti Muga, and we see that there are significant edits of this long ha'ara. Okay, quickly today's story.